Everything became a lot more critical after Christmas.
If we carry on this path, we won't make Silverstone.
One thing fails and that's it. You don't even see the car race.
Less fucking about during the day because we take the piss.
I wouldn't say stress is the word, it's more... I'd say it's stress actually, yeah, it's a lie.
No, I think that's, if I'm being honest, poor.
The belief is that we can do really fucking well this year.
The team were in York with the plan to manufacture the chassis of the car and come back within 3 days with the car ready for the rest of the team to work on.
Look at that, mate.
Chassis basically done.
Look, you see? Our designs are good.
It took you 9 months.
On the 6th of June, we went there for 3 days so that we could finally get the chassis ready.
It was looking rough on the first day. There was no chassis, like it looked bare. There was nothing kind of coming together. It kind of all looked like a bit of scrap metal on the floor.
SBR 2023 chassis, just a bit disassembled.
So it was worrying at that point.
Today didn't go as well as we hoped. We thought we'd be able to at least place the hoops and we only managed to bend 1.5 hoops.
It looks like the chassis will take longer than expected. Tomorrow the raw hoops will need to get done.
We have a lot to do in a short space of time, so we kind of have to...
So we can't really afford any, for any issues to arise. We need everything to go according to plan.
But the point of the matter is, we should have been here 6 months ago.
Yesterday, me, Dion, Harry and Joe Darcy went up to York to start manufacturing the chassis. We started by making the jig, so we've got the jig for the chassis made from steel box section.
So when you do the floor plan of the chassis, you lay it on top of a jig and that gives you all your reference points for each hoop.
Almost assemble it like a Lego piece, just going to be very repetitive, cut, weld all of the members.
After the first trip, we originally planned to head back up in a few weeks' time, so about the start of April, and then just finish it there and bring it back down, essentially.
Yeah, we haven't decided with them when exactly we're going back. Like you said, around about 3 weeks.
Oh man. So are we realistically looking at the chassis probably, like if it's 4 weeks, that'll be like April the 5th?
So if you're saying that's whenever you should be going back up, that's very late, because that means then you wouldn't get the chassis back till like mid-April. I mean, to me that just means there's no testing.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh
sounds
man.
like.
Yeah, okay.
Same like last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
What is worst case scenario?
We don't want it. It's not even a lot.
Because you need to plan for it, right?
For the chassis to go.
Yeah.
You don't have a chassis for the race.
But I don't think that's realistic worst case scenario though.
It's like we get delayed and the chassis comes back last minute and we have about 2 weeks to assemble everything onto the car like we had last year. That's pretty much.
And is that realistically worst case scenario? Because it sounds realistic.
I mean, no, anything worse than that, anything worse than that means we're not going.
Yeah.
No, but I mean that.
Hello. Come in. Stripped down, optimized purely for speed. Yeah, you'll see when I show you. They're quick as fuck. Yeah. Hi, I'm Joe, and I am leader of electrical at Southbank Racing. For a lot of people, I think it starts with Lego, and I was big into Lego as a kid. I just had an obsessive thing of like taking things apart. So everything that we had, pretty much. I'd take apart and try and figure out how it worked. The things that interested me the most were the kind of electronic circuits, because it was like magic. They, these bunch of wires and circuit boards and these little components on them. It really captured my imagination. I wanted to know how it worked desperately. So I got given a drone for my 14th or 15th birthday. I loved it. I flew it around and then crashed it, obviously. I got into building drones, found that there was a community of people who built their own drones, and you can fly them with this, it's called FPV. You've got the goggles, you can see what the drone is doing in real time, and you can get to be a bird, with technology, and that's just so cool. Don't get dizzy now.
Oh fuck. I'm so stupid. I just disarmed midair. Like an idiot.
Last year, the competition itself was probably the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life, but it was also one of the most rewarding things. Electrical at the competition was giving us a lot of problems, and we still it's still kind of speculation on why everything was going kind of wrong.
Oh, it stopped.
No, it stopped. What is the issue? Can they restart it? The marshals haven't yet touched the car. They're in that grace period.
Yeah, I had a breakdown at the competition.
But that's gutting for London South Bank University. I really hope they would complete at least one lap.
The pressure of everything, getting caught up in the whole competition, it became too much for me. It was so difficult getting to that point, and it nearly broke me. But I'm still here, and eventually we pulled through, and we were able to actually get the car on the track and running, and that was, I think, one of the best feelings I've ever felt. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment, and it feels good now with that experience going forward with the competition.
Electrical team is 2 people. We've got Joe, head of electrical, and Linda. So it's quite small.
Without me, I don't know, it would be Linda.
Is one person enough?
No, 2 people isn't enough, really.
But what isn't working in our favour is the fact that Joe won't be available all the time, so we'll be left with a 1-person electrical team.
Yeah, so I'm going to be missing the competition this year, and yeah, it's not great. I feel terrible. I really don't want to let the team down.
Oh, that's a massive issue actually, because you're not going to be here for the electrics.
Joe needs to wire things on the chassis, but if the chassis isn't here, he can't. He has to pause.
Joe's going travelling. He's going to Japan, and it just happened to be in the moment where our chassis arrives. And in order to get the engine in and wire everything up on the chassis, we had to have a chassis for him to work on. We essentially had to finish the chassis in York on Friday. Of course, if we had the chassis much early on, he would have much more time to finish the electricals. But we are where we are now.
It's now 3 months, but originally 6 months behind. Thursday evenings are good kind of timeline to have the chassis finished.
So chassis must be done, no other choice, no plan B, chassis is going to be done.
So we done the front bulkhead yesterday. We started the front hoop. We got halfway there for the bends. We're hopeful that we get it all done today. Which will never
Agreed.
happen.
We've cut all the tubes for the side impact structures.
My ears are ringing.
Dom's ears are ringing. Dom's done all the cutting. Basically, started putting the side impact structures in plain dot to dot, basically. So we're almost there.
We were hoping we were going to get it done. That was the big kind of push day. We were hoping to get at least, I'd say, halfway of the chassis completed.
That's a good start.
Yeah, fantastic.
Our expectations were really like a roller coaster. At one point, in the beginning, we had a clear plan laid out, what we would do every day to ensure we finish on the deadline.
It's makeable, it's just time, isn't it? Because how are you going to finish it?
Long hours, as long as possible.
And at that point, we kind of all realised, you know, the chances of it being finished in those 2 days are extremely slim.
Like, can you guys, have you got the facilities to finish it?
Not particularly, no.
Obviously we can do it, but it's another...
Yeah. It took us a bit longer than expected each day, and things just sort of fell back an hour or two, and each process took a little bit too long. It's going okay. We're not making as much progress as we thought we would, so we're probably not going to be able to finish by tomorrow evening. Yeah. Stress. If I hit Joe Hutchinson say as well, they can't do the chassis, run the electronics without the chassis. Yeah. He's just going to have to use the old chassis. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see where we are tomorrow. And yeah, when we're up there and the chassis is not finished, it's massively disheartening because you don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. You think, why are we doing all this? We put in all this time and effort and we can't even do the foundations right, and we fall so far behind. But you can't let that get to you. You kind of just have to put those like deep thoughts behind and just focus on the task ahead. We have the chassis to make. We don't want to let anybody down, so we just have to sort of put our heads down and get to work. So day 3 in York, we're back at One-Off Engineering doing the chassis. Yesterday we got all the hoops in place and started to manufacture the front suspension components, but we should have the chassis completed by today, and then we'll have to bring it back down, make all the wishbones ourselves, and all the suspension pickups ourselves as well back at uni. The original plan was to finish the chassis by yesterday really, and then have all the wishbones and pickup points welded up here as well. So we brought all the material to do the wishbones. We brought all the components like the engine and the steering rack and stuff, and we'll have to bring it back down out of the chassis, which is kind of disheartening, but we'll get it all done this weekend, and then Joe can start with the electrics on Monday.
Another stressful thing is that Joe Hutchinson, our electrical engineer, we only had him for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, to wire up the whole car, get the engine running, get the dashboard wired up and safety system wired up.
It adds a bit of stress to the system, and when there's a bit more stress, everyone gets a bit more on edge and everyone's tempers raise a little bit. So we're just trying to mellow everything out, keep everyone cool, calm and collected, and keep on track of everything. But I've just realised the intake's been hiding under that table, and we can't forget that if we forget the intake up here. That'd be almost disastrous. We're getting there, almost there. We'll be done today. What were they welding next to that? Just cracked. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2, 12. So we got 22 more bars. Sounds like a lot, but they're all cut. We just need to shape them and then put them in place and weld it. So not too much. We're trying to rush to make the testing on the 26th of June. But that's our one big time span, to have a huge airfield where we can test all the dynamic events and actually simulate what the car would be like and how it would perform at Silverstone. So that's the one key target we're trying to make. So if we show up to uni without a finished chassis, that means it puts more stress on that deadline for the 26th of June.
No, we can't. We've got to do the chassis. What do you mean? We've got
well, not complete, but at least we have a chassis for the first time.
This one fit. Yeah, bro.
Sharp piece of steel on it. That was surprising.
Twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hurting. I wonder what that is.
The pain we go through to finish this car. And we don't even get paid for it.
This It is a welder, this. It's not a bridge builder.
Right, and then if you grab the bar, or you know the long one, I just kind of lob it. You know the long bar?
No.
The long flat bar.
What are you talking about?
The long flat bar, it's over there, leaning up against the
flat piece?
Long flat bar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. We were very tired because obviously we'd been kind of up at the crack of dawn kind of thing, like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, kind of trying to work, and then it got to like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and you're like, right, you're tired, you're trying to keep optimistic. Oh, that's why it's not fucking 20 degrees.
What?
It's not 20 degrees.
Because it's not going all the way down?
No, 20 degrees is if it was going like that.
It's probably going to be more than possible.
Yeah, it's like that. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, so by the end of the week we didn't finish the chassis entirely. We made it all the way up to the main hoop, but we still had that main hoop to the rear bulkhead where the diff is mounted, so basically the engine cradle. We didn't finish that. We had all the support structures to do. We did the main bars and the braces, but we had all the support structures. Good idea. Can't even speak.
It's not like you've got.
Disappointing. Hard, yeah, disappointing. Didn't get as much done as we wanted. Got left to our own devices for the most part. Still have about half of the support structures to do. Yeah, high expectations, bad communication led to us not finishing what we had planned, and that led us down a path of being a bit too late again with the chassis, which has been a massive ongoing problem for the whole year. Then Craig's up at midday to take us back with whatever we get done by then, and then all the parts that we didn't get to put in the car. Yeah. And then it'll be us working
Saturday, Sunday.
Friday when we get back, and then the weekend to try to finish the chassis so that Joe can have
for the delays that we had.
Yes, and then get the engine mounted by Monday so that Joe can start routing the electronics basically and get the car ready for Tuesday to start running, because we only have him for 2 days before he starts travelling.
So it's tight. You have to forget about it now and just kind of enjoy the rest of the stay in York. And then just keep working.
We know we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's just
We'll make it.
taking a bit longer than expected.
We'll
Everything's accumulated to being a few months behind, and we'll make it. As we always do. It's just a bit more added stress, and we wanted it to be as easy as possible this year so it's easier on Dom next year when he has less of a team. But we'll make it, as always.
I think we just have to stop complaining and stop being so put down. Just keep going. There's nothing else we can do, just try.
How's it going, bud?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
How's
I
it
need
going?
to get this helmet off, it stinks in here.
How's it gone?
Beat the chassis back.
Yeah. Is it getting good? How is the chassis?
It's alright. Cool.
Is the wishbones done?
No.
Are the mounts on?
Mate, the chassis not even done.
Oh.
We ain't even finished the chassis. The chassis is about 70% there.
Why are you back then? If you've got a long weekend, you can get that done.
Oh well, me and Dion are going to be working on it this evening, tomorrow and Sunday. Get it finished.
70% done, what's left to do?
So about 13 bars, 11 bars left to weld in. And it still needs to be fully welded. A lot of them are just, yeah.
Well, that is a lot of work.
Yeah. Weren't as easy as we thought it'd be.
What is welded though? Like what's
front section's half welded, so you still got the underneath to do.
Is the floor's welded though?
No. Floor's half tight.
Is it all jigged?
Huh?
Is it all jigged though?
What do you mean?
Is that the whole chassis jigged up though?
No, we've still got notching and we've still got notching and cutting to do.
Damn. That is a lot of work.
Yeah. It'll be done.
That's why we have to take it to like.
No.
Did you get the angle grinder and all of that?
Angle grinder, Andy won't give it us.
Oh, so we're not doing anything then. Alright, that's what I've got on.
Will we be able to test?
26.
As it stands.
Will we be assembling the car at the runway to test?
Yeah.
No, I mean...
Okay, right. A better question is, when do you think we can start the car up? Like, when do you think we can fire it
Car's
up?
got to be started by next week by the time Joe leaves. Car's got to be started by the time Joe leaves.
Tuesday then, because he leaves on Wednesday.
I mean...
That car needs to be started before Joe leaves.
Let's cut the shit, we're in a really bad way.
Yeah. Positive. Positivity, mate. If this week's taught me anything, just stay positive and it'll work its way out.
We'll make testing, we have to.
We need testing.
We have to go to testing.
Yeah, we need testing. We'll just get rid of the party.
Yeah, like there's no difference with basket this year.
We need to go to
Like, there's no validation, therefore
There's
your
literally
car
no
we will not
difference.
get points in design. We need points in design.
We're in a worse situation than I thought we would be. Quite.
Is it worse than last year? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a chassis last year.
Yeah, we had
By this point we'd have had a chassis and mounting points. And now we still don't have a chassis.
Wait, I had it in December, which is when we should have had it this year.
It took a month, almost 2 months to weld the mounting points on the ship.
So, but the thing is, we need testing, but
You don't need to test.
We need testing.
You don't need it. You can still compete if you
You're
don't
not
test
an
the car.
engineer.
The car, right?
Dylan,
Yes or
Dylan,
no? Yes or
we
no?
need
Can you
engineering.
still
Were you
compete
here last
if you do
year?
not test?
Were you here?
Right. Answer the question. Yes or no? Can you factually still run the car in competition
What did
if
we
you
do
don't
last
test?
year? We did half a lap and it stopped. We didn't pass screw. Nothing happened.
Yes, you still competed though.
We didn't get any points for competing.
You still competed.
No, we didn't. We DNF'd. Without testing, we got 0 points essentially in design, and we showed up with a working car that did a half the lap and stalled because it was not reliable. The entire point of testing is to ensure that it's reliable. You smooth out things that are not functional before the race happens. You can't go and expect to compete in every single challenge if you haven't tested. Something will go wrong, and it will be too late to go wrong. You could have known if you went wrong in testing, but you didn't. We need testing. And the thing is that we've got a free offer to test from Barney at Manston Airport. Like, we need testing. Whether it's Manston Airport or track again, we just need to. So it means we need to have the car done as soon as possible. We can't say no to testing. We'll get shredded by the design guys, and we won't know what's wrong with it till it runs on the track, and that's far too late.
Or if it runs on the track.
If it runs on the track.
We'll have to make it.
To what?
To Manston.
Manston. Yeah, Manston would be ideal, even if you go for 1 day.
We have to make that.
Yeah. But testing is very necessary. Like, we cannot show up without a working car. Not for design, not for the competition.
We put too much effort in the design to do that.
I think the big thing will be obviously Joe getting all the wiring done and getting the engine started in 2 days. That's going to be a challenge for him.